Zara pressed her thin blue fingers against the cold metal wall of the storage room. Her stomach made strange clicking sounds, the kind that only Zarathians made when they were truly hungry. She looked around the empty space station cafeteria, making sure no humans were watching. Then she did what she had been doing for the past 3 months. She reached for the stack of old newspapers near the recycling bin. The paper felt rough against her fingertips. She tore off a small piece and placed it in her mouth. The taste was bitter, like eating dust mixed with chemicals, but it was better than starving. Her people could digest cellulose, unlike the protein-based food that humans ate. Paper was the only thing on this space station that her body could process without getting sick. She had come to Earth Station 7 with such hope. The advertisement had promised good jobs for aliens willing to work in human territories. They said the pay would be enough to send money back to her dying planet. They said food and shelter would be provided. They lied about many things. The other Zarathians who came with her had already given up and returned home, but Zara could not go back. Her little sister needed medicine that only human credits could buy. So she stayed, working 18 hours a day cleaning the station's ventilation systems. The work was hard, crawling through narrow tubes filled with dust and grime. Her supervisor, Mr. Chen, always found reasons to cut her pay. A scratch on a vent cover meant losing a day's wages. Being 5 minutes late meant losing 2 days. She swallowed another piece of paper, trying not to think about how it used to be part of someone's book. Books were precious things on her planet, but here humans threw them away like garbage. The irony was not lost on her. She was eating knowledge to survive. "What are you doing there?" The voice made Zara jump. She spun around, hiding the torn newspaper behind her back. A human woman stood in the doorway, wearing the white uniform of a cafeteria worker. She was older, maybe 50 Earth years, with gray hair pulled back in a net and kind brown eyes behind thick glasses. "Nothing," Zara said quickly. Her universal translator made her words sound flat and mechanical. "I am cleaning." The woman stepped closer. Zara could smell the scent of cooked food on her clothes. Real food. The kind that would make Zara sick if she tried to eat it. The woman's name tag read, "Maria." "You don't have any cleaning supplies," Maria pointed out. Her voice was gentle, not accusing. "And this isn't even your section. The ventilation workers don't clean the cafeteria." Zara felt her chest tighten. If this woman reported her, she would lose her job. Without the job, she would be deported. Without the credits she was slowly saving, her sister would die. "Please," she whispered. "I was just looking for something." Maria's eyes moved to Zara's hand, still hidden behind her back, then to the torn newspapers, then to Zara's face, which even through its blue tint, showed the hollow cheeks of someone who had not eaten properly in months. "You're hungry," Maria said. It was not a question. Zara said nothing. What could she say? That the food allowance they gave alien workers could only buy human food that her species could not digest, that she had tried eating the synthetic protein bars and ended up in the medical bay for a week, using up all her savings for treatment, that she had discovered paper was the only thing that kept her alive, even though it provided almost no nutrition. Maria walked to one of the cafeteria tables and pulled out a chair. "Sit," she said. "I need to return to work," Zara protested. "Mr. Chen will." "Mr. Chen's shift ended an hour ago. I saw him leave." "Sit down, child." Something in Maria's voice made Zara obey. She had not heard kindness in so long that she had almost forgotten what it sounded like. She sat carefully, still clutching the newspaper. Maria sat across from her. "How long have you been eating paper?" The question was so direct that Zara could not think of a lie fast enough. 3 months, she admitted. "Since you arrived?" Zara nodded. Maria's face changed. Zara had seen many human expressions in her time on the station, but this one was new. It looked like anger mixed with sadness mixed with something else. 3 months, Maria repeated. "My God, you've been starving for 3 months and no one noticed?" "Zarathians are good at hiding weakness," Zara said. It was true. Her people had survived centuries of hardship by never showing when they were suffering. And no one looks at the cleaning staff anyway. Maria stood up abruptly. For a moment, Zara thought she was going to leave. Instead, she walked to the kitchen area and began opening cabinets. "What exactly can your species eat?" she called over her shoulder. "I know the basics about different alien diets, but Zarathians are rare here. We process cellulose," Zara said, confused by the question. "Plant fiber. But not the kind humans eat. Your vegetables are too soft, too processed. We need harder plant matter. Like wood pulp. Or paper," Maria finished. She closed the last cabinet with a sigh. "Nothing here you can eat, but that's going to change." She came back to the table and sat down again. "Tell me about yourself. Why are you here? Why are you putting yourself through this?" Zara hesitated. She had learned not to trust humans too quickly. But something about Maria felt different. Maybe it was the way she had said cleaning staff with respect instead of dismissal. Maybe it was the anger in her eyes when she learned Zara had been starving. So Zara told her about Zereth, her dying planet where the forests had been destroyed by industrial mining. About her sister, only 10 Earth years old, suffering from the lung disease that plagued their people. About the medicine that cost more than their family could earn in a lifetime. About the promise of work in human space that had seemed like salvation. Maria listened without interrupting. When Zara finished, there was silence in the cafeteria. The only sound was the hum of the air recyclers. "What's your sister's name?" Maria asked finally. "Kira," Zara said. "She has the same blue skin as me, but her eyes are purple like our mother's. She loves to sing. Even when she can barely breathe, she tries to hum the old songs." Maria reached across the table and gently took the newspaper from Zara's hand. "No more of this," she said firmly. "I'm going to help you." "You cannot," Zara said. "The station provides only regulation food. There is no budget for special alien dietary needs. I have asked." "Then we'll work outside the system," Maria said. She stood up. And this time, Zara could see determination in every line of her body. "I've been working in cafeterias for 30 years. I know every food supplier in this sector. Someone, somewhere, has to be importing Zarathian food. It might cost more than standard supplies, but I have some savings." "I cannot take your money," Zara protested. "You're not taking anything. I'm investing in not letting a young woman starve to death on my watch." Maria's voice was fierce now. "This is supposed to be an interspecies cooperative station. The whole point is to show that different species can work together. What kind of cooperation is it when we let our workers eat paper to survive?" She pulled out a small communication device. "I'm calling in some favors tonight. You come back here tomorrow at the same time. And bring your appetite, not newspapers." Zara felt something strange happening to her eyes. They were leaking. She had heard humans called it crying, but Zarathians rarely did it. "Why?" she asked. "Why would you help me?" Maria's expression softened. She reached out and touched Zara's shoulder gently. "Because, 40 years ago, I came to this station from Earth. I was nobody too. Just a poor woman from Mexico who barely spoke standard. I was so hungry those first months, trying to send every credit home to my children. And someone helped me. An old alien cook. A Rigelian named Torx. He made sure I ate. Made sure I survived. He told me that one day I should do the same for someone else." She squeezed Zara's shoulder. "Looks like that day has come. Now go, before the night shift security starts their rounds. And no more paper. You hear me? Not one piece. Promise me." "I promise," Zara whispered. As she left the cafeteria, Zara felt something she had not felt in months. It was small, fragile, but unmistakable. Hope. For the first time since arriving on Earth Station 7, someone had seen her, really seen her. Not as cheap labor or an alien curiosity, but as a person worth saving. She did not know if Maria could really help, but for tonight, the promise was enough. Tomorrow, she would not have to eat paper. Tomorrow, someone would be waiting for her with real food. Tomorrow, everything might change. The next evening, Zara stood outside the cafeteria door for 10 minutes before finding the courage to enter. Her shift in the vents had been particularly difficult. Mr. Chen had assigned her to the waste processing section, where the smell was so strong it made her eyes water. But through it all, she had kept thinking about Maria's promise. When she finally pushed open the door, the smell hit her immediately. Not the antiseptic smell of human food or the metallic tang of the station air. This was different. It was earthy, rich, familiar. It smelled like home. Maria was waiting at the same table. But this time she was not alone. A tall creature with green scales and 4 arms sat beside her. Zara recognized the species, a Vorthen, known throughout the galaxy as traders and merchants. "Zara," Maria called out, waving her over. "Come meet Grixthar. He's the miracle worker who found what we need." Grixthar stood as Zara approached, performing the traditional Vorthan greeting, with all 4 hands moving in a complex pattern. "Young Zarathian," he said, his voice like grinding stones. "Maria tells me you have been suffering. This should not be." On the table sat a plain metal container. Maria pushed it toward Zara. "Open it," she said, smiling. Zara lifted the lid carefully. Inside were small, dark cubes that looked like compressed wood. But the smell told her they were so much more. Her hands shook as she picked one up. "Zarathian nutrient blocks," Grixthar explained. "Made from the bark of your sacred Thara trees, mixed with concentrated minerals from your home soil. 1 cube contains more nutrition than a Zarathian would get from a full day of foraging." Zara bit into the cube. The taste exploded across her tongue. Not the dead flavor of paper, but the living taste of home. It was forests after rain, moss on ancient rocks, the sweet sap of healing trees. She closed her eyes, and for a moment, she was back on Zareth, sitting with Kira under the silver leaves. "How?" she whispered, when she could speak again. Grixthar's scales shifted color, a sign of satisfaction. "I have contacts on the refugee station near Zareth. Many of your people pass through there. A small industry has grown up making these blocks for Zarathian travelers. Not cheap, but available if you know where to look." "How much?" Zara asked, though she dreaded the answer. Such precious food must cost a fortune. Maria and Grixthar exchanged looks. "That's already taken care of," Maria said. "Grixthar owed me a favor from years back, and the shipping cost. Well, I've been saving for a vacation I never seem to take anyway." "No," Zara said, pushing the container back. "I cannot accept this. It is too much." "It's done," Maria said firmly. "The first shipment is paid for. 3 months' worth. After that," she smiled, "well, we'll have to figure out a more sustainable solution." Grixthar leaned forward, his 4 eyes studying Zara intently. "You work in the vents, yes? How many other aliens work there? How many struggle with the food situation?" 7 others, Zara said. 2 Rillan who can only eat fungus. 3 Celestines who need pure silicon. 2 more Zarathians who arrived last week. They are already looking sick. 8 underfed workers, Grixthar mused. And that is just in one department. "Maria, how many aliens work on this station total?" "About 300, Maria said. "Most can eat modified human food. But I'd guess at least 50 have special needs that aren't being met." Grixthar's scales shifted through several colors, which Zara had learned meant he was thinking hard. "This is not just a kindness issue," he said finally. "This is a business opportunity. If the station will not provide proper food, perhaps a private service could." "Like a food delivery service?" Maria asked. "But specialized for alien dietary needs?" "Exactly," I have the contacts. You have the kitchen knowledge. And Zara here knows the workers, knows what they need. All four of his hands gestured expressively. Why should beings starve when solutions exist? Zara took another bite of the nutrient cube, feeling strength flow into her body with each swallow. The station management would not like it, she said. They want us desperate. Easier to control. Then we do it quietly, Maria said. There was a glint in her eye that Zara was beginning to recognize. It was the look of someone who had spent too long following rules that hurt people. I run the night kitchen. Officially, I'm just doing prep work for the next day. No one checks what actually happens during those hours. Over the next hour, they planned. It seemed impossible at first. 3 people from different worlds trying to solve a problem that the station authorities had deliberately created. But as they talked, it began to feel less like a dream and more like a rebellion. Grixthar would use his network to source alien foods at wholesale prices. Maria would prepare and package them in her kitchen after hours. Zara would spread the word among the alien workers and help with distribution. They would charge just enough to cover costs, maybe a tiny profit to keep the operation running. We'll need to be careful, Maria warned. If Chen or the other supervisors find out, they'll shut us down. Maybe worse. Then we make sure they do not find out. Grixthar said. His species had survived centuries of oppression by being clever. Small operations. Trusted workers only. We grow slowly. Carefully. As they talked, other cafeteria workers began arriving for the night shift. Maria introduced Zara to them. Hassan from Earth's African Federation, Lee from Mars Colony, Stefania from Europa Station. To Zara's surprise, they all knew about Maria's plan. More surprisingly, they wanted to help. About time someone did something, Hassan said, his deep voice rumbling with anger. I've watched too many alien workers waste away. It's not right. I can help with the delivery, Lee offered. I know all the maintenance corridors. Security never checks them during night shift. Stefania, who was studying to be a chef, volunteered to help Maria adapt recipes for different species. I've been researching xenonutrition in my spare time, she said shyly. It's fascinating how different beings process energy. Watching them all rally around the idea, Zara felt that strange eye-leaking sensation again. These humans, who had no obligation to help, who risked their own jobs by getting involved, were choosing to stand with her and others like her. Why? She asked them. Why take this risk for aliens you do not even know? Hassan answered first. My grandparents were refugees on Earth. They told me stories about being hungry, about being treated as less than human. I swore I'd never let that happen to someone else, if I could stop it. My family were early Mars colonists, Lee added. They nearly starved the first winter because Earth kept sending the wrong supplies. They survived because the Chinese moon base shared their reserves. We remember who helped us. I just think food is love, Stefania said simply. And everyone deserves love. Maria put her arm around Zara's shoulders. You asked me yesterday why I was helping. The truth is, it's not just about paying forward what Torx did for me. It's about what kind of station, what kind of future we want to build. One where people eat paper to survive? Or one where we take care of each other? They worked through the night, planning routes, calculating costs, designing a communication system that would not be traced. Zara ate 3 more nutrient cubes, feeling her body remember what it was like to be properly nourished. As dawn approached, and the early shift workers began arriving, they scattered to their regular duties. But not before Grixthar handed Zara a small device. Encrypted communicator, he explained. Press the blue button if you need emergency food. Press the green to report a new worker who needs help. We take care of our own now. Zara walked to the vent access tunnel, her body feeling stronger than it had in months. Mr. Chen was already there, scowling at his time pad. You're 3 minutes late, he snapped. That's half a day's pay. Once, this would have crushed her. The loss of credits meant less money for Kira's medicine. But now she had allies. Now she had hope. Yes, Mr. Chen, she said calmly, picking up her tools. As she climbed into the vent, she felt the weight of the nutrient cubes in her pocket and the communicator against her chest. She thought of the two new Zarathians who were probably already eyeing the newspaper stacks. Tonight, she would find them. Tonight, they would eat real food. The rebellion had begun in the most unlikely place. A station cafeteria. With a human woman who refused to let injustice stand, it would spread through the vents and maintenance corridors, carried by workers who had been invisible for too long. Zara smiled as she crawled through the dark tunnels. For the first time since leaving home, she was not just surviving. She was fighting back. And she was not fighting alone. 6 months later, Zara moved through the vents with practiced ease, but now she carried more than just cleaning tools. Hidden in her maintenance bag were 20 small packages, each labeled with a different alien name and species. The night kitchen operation had grown beyond their wildest hopes. She reached the junction where the Celestine workers took their break. Thrix and Vela were already waiting, their crystalline bodies dim with hunger. Without a word, Zara passed them 2 packages of pure silicon powder, specially imported from their asteroid homeland. "Bless you, sister," Thrix whispered, her voice like wind chimes. The hunger was getting bad again. "Maria says to tell you next week we'll have the blue silicon you requested," Zara added. Grixthar found a supplier. She moved on, delivering to the Rillan brothers their fungus cultures, to the new Zarathians their precious bark blocks. Each stop was quick, quiet, careful. They had learned to be shadows within shadows. The communicator buzzed against her chest. Green button. Someone new needed help. She checked the message. A Tauron had just arrived, assigned to waste processing. Taurons needed heavy metals in their diet, something the human cafeteria definitely could not provide. She made a note to tell Maria. As her shift ended, Zara made her way to the night kitchen. What had started as Maria sneaking food to one starving alien had become a complex operation. 37 workers were now in their network, representing 15 different species. The kitchen was bustling when she arrived. Hassan was unpacking a shipment of Andromedan spice crystals. Lee was updating the distribution schedule on a secure tablet. Stefania and Maria worked side by side, packaging tomorrow's deliveries. "How did it go?" Maria asked, not looking up from the Vorthan paste she was portioning. "All delivered," Zara reported. "And we have a new Tauron who needs help." "Tauron," Stefania said thoughtfully. "Iron, copper, zinc in high concentrations. I can work with that." Over the months, Stefania had become their expert in alien nutrition, spending every free hour researching. She had even started corresponding with xenobiologists on other stations, building a database of dietary needs. "We have a problem," Lee announced, looking at his tablet. "Security is planning random inspections next week. Someone tipped them off about unauthorized food distribution." The kitchen fell silent. They all knew what discovery would mean. Immediate termination for the humans. Deportation for the aliens. The end of everything they had built. "Who talked?" Hassan asked grimly. "Does it matter?" Maria said. "What matters is keeping everyone fed." We knew this day would come. Grixthar entered through the service door, his scales a worried orange. "I have heard the same rumors. But I also bring news. Good news, if we are brave enough to take the risk." He set a data pad on the counter. "The Interspecies Workers Union on Centauri Station has heard about our operation. They want to help. They're offering official backing, legal protection, even funding. But we'd have to go public," Maria finished. "No more hiding. It would mean confronting the station administration directly," Grixthar continued. "Demanding proper food services for all workers. It could get ugly." Zara thought about the past 6 months. She had gained back all the weight she had lost, and more. Her blue skin was healthy and bright. More importantly, she had been able to increase the money sent home. Just last week, she received a video message from Kira. Her sister was breathing easier, even singing again, but it wasn't just about her anymore. It was about Thrix and Vela. About the Rillan brothers. About every alien worker who had been told their needs didn't matter. I think we should do it, she said quietly. We've been hiding long enough. One by one, the others agreed. They were tired of sneaking around, tired of treating basic nutrition as a criminal act. They spent the night preparing. Grixthar contacted the union representatives. Maria and Stefania documented every species' dietary needs with scientific precision. Hassan and Lee mapped out how many workers were affected. Zara wrote her story, the story of a girl who ate paper to survive until a cafeteria lady changed her life. 3 days later, they stood before the station administrator, Mr. Kozlov. He was a thin man who looked at them like they were particularly annoying insects. The union had sent a representative, a tough Andromedan lawyer named Zex, who specialized in interspecies rights. This is ridiculous, Kozlov said, scrolling through their documentation. The station provides standard nutrition packets. If aliens choose to work here, they must adapt to our systems. Your standard nutrition was killing them, Maria said firmly. Workers were literally starving. That's an exaggeration. I ate paper. Zara interrupted. Everyone turned to look at her. She stood straighter, remembering all those nights of gnawing hunger. For 3 months, I ate paper from your recycling bins because it was the only thing that wouldn't poison me. I have the medical records to prove the malnutrition. Zex stepped forward. We have documented 37 cases of severe malnutrition among alien workers, 15 hospitalizations, 3 workers who returned home in critical condition. This station is in violation of 12 different interspecies labor laws. And we have a solution, Maria added. We've been running a supplemental food program for 6 months. 37 workers, 15 species, 0 health incidents. All we're asking is to make it official. Kozlov's face went through several expressions. Zara could see him calculating. The cost of fighting the union, the bad publicity, the potential lawsuits. Finally, he leaned back in his chair. What exactly are you proposing? They were ready. Stefania presented the plan they had developed. A small alien nutrition center, run alongside the regular cafeteria. Minimal cost to the station. Workers would pay a small fee to cover expenses. Grixthar already had supply chains established. Maria had volunteers ready to staff it. This is extortion, Kozlov muttered. This is justice, Zex corrected. And considerably cheaper than the lawsuit we're prepared to file. It took 2 more hours of negotiation. But in the end, Kozlov signed the agreement. The Alien Nutrition Center would open officially next month. Workers would have access to species-appropriate food at reasonable prices. It wasn't perfect. They had wanted the station to provide it for free. But it was a start. As they left the administrator's office, Zara felt like she was walking on air. They had done it. No more hiding. No more hunger. This calls for celebration, Maria announced. Everyone to the cafeteria. Hassan, bring the good coffee. Stefania, I think we have some of those Rigelian sweet cakes. Hidden in the back. As they celebrated, the communicator buzzed again. But this time, it wasn't the green or blue button. It was an incoming transmission from off-station. Zara stepped aside to take it, and her heart nearly stopped. It was Kira. Not a recorded message, but a live feed. Her sister's face filled the small screen. Purple eyes bright with life. Zara, guess what? The doctor says I'm well enough to travel. Mama says if you can arrange it, we can come visit. I want to see the stars, Zara. I want to see where you work. I want to meet the human who saved you. Zara couldn't speak past the tightness in her throat. Behind her, she heard Maria asking what was wrong. She turned, holding up the communicator. My sister, she managed. She's better. She wants to visit. Maria's face lit up. Well, of course she must come. We'll make it a grand opening for the nutrition center. Lee, don't we have those empty quarters on deck 7? Stefania, can you research what young Zarathians like to eat? Hassan, as her friends, her family, began planning enthusiastically. Zara looked around the cafeteria. The same room where she had once scavenged paper to survive was now filled with beings from a dozen worlds, working together, taking care of each other. She thought about that first night, when Maria had found her eating newspaper. One act of kindness had started all this. One person refusing to look away from suffering. The communicator buzzed with another message. This one was from the Taurun worker they had helped last week. Thank you. For the first time in weeks, I don't feel weak. You saved my life. Zara smiled, typing back. We take care of our own. 6 months from now, the nutrition center would be serving over 100 workers. In a year, other stations would begin implementing similar programs. In 5 years, it would be standard practice across human space to accommodate the dietary needs of all workers. But right now, in this moment, Zara was surrounded by friends. Her sister was coming to visit, and no one on Earth Station 7 would ever have to eat paper again. Sometimes the biggest changes started with the smallest acts of kindness. Sometimes revolution looked like a cafeteria lady refusing to let someone starve. Sometimes hope came in the form of a nutrient cube that tasted like home. As Maria pulled her back to the celebration, insisting she try the chocolate cake. Just a small piece. I know your species doesn't process sugar well, but everyone should taste chocolate at least once. Zara felt the last of her old fear dissolve. She was not just surviving anymore. She was living. And she was helping others do the same. The alien girl who once ate paper to survive had become the alien woman who made sure no one else ever would have to. And it had all started with a cafeteria lady who chose to see, to care, and to act. In the vast coldness of space, on a station where profit mattered more than lives, they had built something warm and necessary. They had built community. They had built hope, and they were just getting started.